Good morning, Wellspring!
Welcome.
And hi, everybody out in Zoom land, wherever you come from to be with us today. Today is May 4th, 2025, and it is also Star Wars Day. As they say, may the 4th be with you. And tomorrow is Cinco de Mayo, so there's lots going on. I just found out why we call May. Because it may be hot, it may be cold, it may rain, it may snow. We just don't know. We may have another earthquake, yes. You know that saying about how March winds bring April showers and April showers bring Mayflowers? And do we all know what Mayflowers bring? Pilgrims, yes. Thank you. We have a gratuity guffaw up here. Thank you very much, Donna. Okay, as always, we have a few announcements. Early Bird meets Sunday mornings at 9:30 via Zoom. The link is in the weekly email or on the website. Our speaker today is our beloved Donna Stryker. Welcome back, dear. And coming up for the rest of May 11th, next weekend, which is Mother's Day, Reverend Sandy Scott will come down from TRC. May 18th, Reverend Kamatara comes down from Albuquerque. And May 24th, Reverend Randy Granger comes from the Cosmos. He's amazing, so he'll be here. Thursday evening group continues to meet here at 7 o'clock or on Zoom. And you can get the coordinates from Cleona or Edward. The labyrinth is slowly coming along. We keep getting rocks little by little, and we would like to thank all of those who have brought rocks donated. And again, if you can bring rocks about 6 inches in diameter, that would be great. And Jean Geringer, who is involved with the labyrinth community here in town, has agreed to facilitate getting the labyrinth up and going. There's a gentleman in town that will come and take the measurements that we want and chalk it out for us so we can start laying it out. But it's coming. Keep rock on, you know. Big announcement. The Board of Trustees has hired a professional cleaning service. And we would like to give a special shout out and thank you to Sharon White for keeping the place presentable. And a round of applause. And she says, "You're welcome." She's the best. Oh, yeah. That's what you always do. You clean your house before the house cleaner comes so they don't think you're a slob. Yeah. Judy has said that there are tickets available still at the door for the Mesilla Valley Chorale Swing into Spring concert at 3 o'clock at Rio Grande. There's a few left. They aren't sold out yet, but if you want tickets, get there early. You know how we are so blessed with such talented people here in our community. There's a book written by our very own Dr. Juan Robles called My Alchemy Journey into Holistic Health. It's a memoir of wisdom, healing, and transformation. It is for sale on Amazon, and Amazon reports, drawing from a lifetime of experience, my journey into holistic health is more than a memoir. It's an invitation to explore the deeper connections between health, spirituality, and the natural world. So support one of our very own by getting the book. And he also is back in his home country of Puerto Rico, so there'll be no full moon gathering this month. And as always, our prayer team remains ready to serve and to support you. You may submit a request via our webpage, or we do have paper requests at the back, and you can give it to Edward. The prayer team meets virtually on Tuesday afternoons at 4:15 to pray with you. And we encourage you to consider sitting in your quiet space during this time, because we know we are one in spirit, and the energy of prayer knows no limit. And now, Judy has brought her crystal bowl instead of our little chimes. So it's time for our invocation. So Mother, Father, God, Great Spirit, the all that is, the divine energy that flows in, through, and around each one of us, we know you are with us here today as we come together as a spiritual community to celebrate living and support each other on each of our own spiritual journey. We know that all is in divine order on this beautiful May Day, and we say together, and so it is. And now, if you're able, we'll stand and sing our community song, Down in My Heart, and Miss Shirley is going to come up and lead us in song.
Well, that's a surprise. No practice, no. Okay. I've got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Down in my heart. Down in my heart. I've got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Down in my heart to stay. I've got the love, 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 love down in my heart. Down in my heart. Down in my heart. I've got the love, 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 love down in my heart. Down in my heart to stay. I've got the peace that passes understanding down in my heart. Down in my heart. Down in my heart. I got the peace that passes understanding down in my heart. Down in my heart to stay. I've got the love, the gift of spirit down in my heart. Down in my heart. Down in my heart. I've got the gift of spirit down in my heart. Down in my heart to stay. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you.
I think we should take it out on the road. All righty. If we could please say together our vision, mission, and affirmation. Our vision to elevate spiritual consciousness in our world. Our mission to support individuals' spiritual quests through celebration, study, counsel, loving fellowship, and service. And our affirmation. I am faith and uplifted by the ever-present power of spirit. Each moment blossoms with opportunities for love, abundance, and joy. I'm a radiant expression of divine truth, living fully and freely, rooted in spirit. Thank you all. And now it's my great honor to invite Reverend Mother Teresa up here.
I have been in Mexico for the past month, in all over the place, and I fell in San Miguel de Allende during Semana Santa, and I hit my wrist. Man, it's not broken, but I'm wounded. And so this is the first time I'm playing my guitar. And so I'm asking for, I have a brace that I've been wearing, but if you could give me a little, you know, a little Christic juju, I'd love it. So thank you. Can you hear the guitar? This is a song I wrote for an old beau. And I've been thinking about our world lately and how maybe men who are seemingly in charge of things have been a little spooky. And maybe even our president can be a little spooky for people. I don't want to be political, but government is spooky. And our culture is going through enormous changes, which I think are going to be for the best in the long run. I think we're going towards something really fantastic. But it all has to kind of fall apart before it can come back together. So this song I wrote for a man that I thought was very admirable and wonderful. And I want to celebrate men again in a way that is uplifting for all of us, because good men are such a gift. Okay. I'd like to think that you've done well in your life, that you've had children with a warm and loving wife. Though nature as such chose to grow us apart, I hope you've had the strength to grow the width and length of your heart. Like to imagine your body still strong and feeling good, and that you're well known and loved throughout your neighborhood. Though nature is such chose to grow us apart, I hope you've had the strength to grow the width and length of your heart. And the angels I prayed who stayed to watch over you have helped you to remain wise and true, kind and loving, sweet, good-hearted man. Kind and loving, sweet, good-hearted man. Sometimes I dream that one day we will meet when we're both free, and that you'll tell me I meant as much to you as you meant to me. Till that day I would pray the angels watch over you and help you to remain wise and true, kind and loving, sweet, good-hearted man. Kind and loving, sweet, good-hearted then sometimes a dream we will meet when we're both free. And that you tell me I meant as much to you as you meant to me. Till that day I hope our love will go. For love, you know, is eternity. Oh, that day we meet, I know we'll greet in love. For love, you know, is our eternity. Kind and loving, sweet, good-hearted man. I forgot all the words. I forgot the words. So I had to wing it at the end. I hope it was okay. Oh, good. Sometimes you got to write on the spot. Oopsie. Okay. Thank you so much. Oh, good. Good guys all around.
Sign of a true artist who can wing it, and it doesn't sound like it was a mistake. We are so blessed to have you with us. Thank you for sharing your gift of music. And I affirm your whole perfect health, that your wrist will come back 100%. Well, it's time for the reading. Without any introduction, I'll just go right into it. Taken from Living the Science of Mind by Ernest Holmes. What is spirituality? We hear a great deal about certain people being spiritual, and there's nothing wrong with this, provided it does not become a maudlin attitude. Spirituality is rather an elusive thing. I cannot think of a better illustration to use than to compare it with the idea of beauty, which a great artist must entertain if he or she is to create a worthwhile object of art. We do not say that such a one has great beauty, but that he or she has great appreciation for beauty. We know that the artist feels beauty, senses its presence, and to a degree communes with it, in drawing it into his or her own soul, that he or she may outbreathe it through the performance. Perfect technique alone does not result in great art. We speak of the soul of an artist, what subtle and indefinable something which is the essence of all art. This is a definite feeling, a communion with invisible harmony, the supreme being, the mind and the heart of God, and the creative essence. It's the same with what we call spirituality, which is a word too often misused. From our viewpoint, spirituality is one's recognition of the universe as a living presence of good, truth, beauty, peace, power, and love. And to this should be added happiness, joy, enthusiasm, and universal harmony, which, like the great rhythm of life, flows through everything. There's a vast difference between this type of spiritual consciousness and theological dogma, or even logical arguments. It is an essence diffused, a consciousness transcendent, and a faith that has passed beyond the point of argument into conviction and union and complete acceptance. Such spirituality we cannot divorce from the highest use of the science of mind. It is like the heat in fire, the colors in the prism, the invisible power flowing through a dynamo. It's like something that is caught from the invisible for the purpose of taking temporary form. It is the background of all spiritual mind treatment, and we should not separate it from our conscious to use the law of mind. Spirituality is a constant, consistent attempt to feel the presence of God in everything and in everyone. Such an attitude need not be put into words because words cannot express such a feeling. But out of the feeling, words will flow, and when they do, they will always be correct. Spirituality cannot be taught, but it can be felt. It can be practiced. It can be embodied. Each in his own consciousness must experience it in his own way, and his way will always be best for him. Indeed, it will be the only way he could do it, because in the secret precinct of the mind, which is alone with God, nothing else can enter. Listening daily to that which can only be felt, daily sensing and communing with that which is too intangible to put into words, one finds an essence flowing through one's thought which can be neither analyzed nor described. Do not wonder whether or not you are spiritual. Rather, accept the fact that you must be. In a sense, you had nothing to do with it. This is your nature. You are rooted in the supreme mind, in the everlasting spirit, in the perfect presence. Spirituality is the consciousness that comes through communing with God. For treatment is a definite act, and however spiritual, must still take a definite form. One should not study to be spiritual as much as one should contemplate in order to imbibe the essence of spirit, to speak from its center. In this, as everything else, practice will perfect your method, and consciousness will make your method effective. And so it is. And now,
You're amazing.
takes one to know one.
That was amazing.
It's Ernest Holmes. It's coming through me. Okay. And now, the biggest, the best, the one and only, Donna Stryker.
Can you guys hear me okay? So these are props, just so you know. That was amazing.
Good team.
Thank you. Yeah, we are a good team. So I brought with me my old Science of Mind, dog-eared, and I brought the Holy Bible. Because today is about religion, spirituality. Vicki, that was perfect. So I just brought these as symbols, because I love symbols. How's everybody today? We good? I'm fantastic. Hi, Mom. Hi, Sis. Religion or spirituality? Spirituality or religion? Are they the same? Absolutely not. How different are they? If you're spiritual, do you believe in God? Can't you do both? Do you have to be religious to be spiritual? Or vice versa? So here's a quote on spirituality, one about religion. This quote is from Dr. Maya Spencer from the Royal College of Psychiatry in England. Spirituality means knowing that our lives have significance in a context beyond a mundane, everyday existence at the level of biological needs that drive selfishness and aggression. It means knowing that we are a significant part of a purposeful unfolding of life in our universe. She has an entire paper. If you ever get a chance to read it, it was amazing, from a psychiatrist. The quote from the Bible, and I don't think in all the years I spoke at churches, I've ever quoted anything from the Bible. And keep in mind, I understand our belief system. So even though I'm a little judgy later on, just commit your works to the Lord, and your thoughts will be established. Now think about what that just said. Commit your works to Spirit. Just saying. This verse encourages individuals to trust God with their plans and actions. Or we could trust Spirit. And we believe that He, or she, or Spirit, or the universe will bring them to fruition and guide them towards His intended purpose, and I'd like to substitute that for our intended purpose. Spirituality, religion. And I don't think a lot of you know this about me, but in the late 70s I was practicing Zazen, which is walking meditation as a Buddhist. And I studied with Roshi, a Buddhist master, and he would come from LA. He was from a very large temple in LA, and he would travel to Los Gatos, California, and we would do weekend retreats. You don't speak all weekend, which I know, honey, is very hard for you to believe about me or anybody who knows me, but I was young. I was very young. I did actually make it. The food was a little too greeny for me, and if you've ever done walking meditation or Zazen, it isn't just walking, it's walking and it's sitting, and it's in specific periods of time. And as a young person, that's really hard to still the mind, the monkey mind chatter. But after that, I decided, because of being exposed to Buddhism, that I wanted to study the world's religion. And at that time, I was aware of Islam, because I had just come home from Saudi Arabia. I knew about Christianity, because I was raised a Baptist, and I knew about Hinduism and Buddhism. Those were the only ones on my radar at that time, but that was then and this is now. So then, when I went through practice studies, we study the spiritual teachers. Emma Curtis Hopkins, Ernest Holmes, Thomas More, Joel Goldsmith, and a cadre of others. There were so many. I'm going through my library and I'm like, I'm not writing all these names down. I'm not going to do that. And it was about spirituality. And of course, since then, there's even more amazing books. But if I'm really honest, I didn't think that they were anything but separate. I thought of religion and spirituality. If any of you have been raised a Baptist, you'll understand what I mean, which we'll talk about in a little minute. I didn't need religion to be spiritual. I was a spiritual being having a human experience. I didn't like organized religion, and I was pretty judgy about it, which you'll see in a few minutes. So I was good in my own little world. I was happy when I'm 18 years old, for goodness sakes. What do I know? I don't know if you remember the last time I was here, but I mentioned, am I a human being having a spiritual experience, or am I a spiritual being having a human experience? Why can't we be both, or are we both? I'm just asking for a friend. I found this next piece, and I couldn't find an author to go with it, and I thought it was so interesting. We're not human beings trying to create our spiritual awakening. We're spiritual beings trying to understand our human awakening. And if you've heard that before, I'm really happy for you. I was really happy for me when I found it. I've told you this before. I have these aha moments about what to come up with to talk about. And it was funny because whenever Vicki and I talk about her being up here with me, on Sunday, she asked me, what is your talk? We just saw each other this week. And I had just heard it in my mind, religion, spirituality. So I started looking up spirituality and religion on Google, because as grandson says, everything's on Google, Nana. There is so much information about religion and spirituality. You could write 2, 3 dissertations, I am sure. But I just have a few of those to share with you today. I looked up definitions, and they fascinate me because I always wonder who's the expert that defines it? Like, are they old? Are they young? Did they pull it from the Sanskrit? Especially about religion or spirituality. What, where, who makes them like the expert? But I didn't go down that rabbit hole to find out. So here's one definition. Religion is said to encompass a wide range of social, cultural systems that include beliefs, practices, rituals, and often involving a belief in a higher power or a supernatural power. It provides meaning, purpose, and a moral framework for individuals and communities, often addressing fundamental questions about the nature of reality and human existence. Whew, that was a bit of a mouthful, and that is not what I was looking for at all. So, since I didn't like that one, I guess you just keep looking until you find one that resonates within you. So I came up with this one. Many religions have a moral code, and there's a little theme here, that provides guidance on how to live a good life and interact with others. Okay, that's a little closer, but I don't think I'm there yet. So the next one, the last one, because I gave up. Religion is often deeply intertwined with social structures, there's that word again, cultural norms, and values. Okay, last rabbit hole. This is not what I'm looking for. I needed to get a grasp on religion. I figured it out. I was Baptist. That's like part of Christianity, right? And when I was a kid, so that's religion, I can use that for what I'm going to talk about. Okay, anybody raised as a Baptist? Hi, Mom, don't get mad. They have a lot of rules. Okay, no smoking, no drinking, no having fun, no dancing, and if you don't go to church, you're going to go to hell. And you think I'm kidding. But okay, now this was 60 years ago, I'm almost 70, so I was like 10. But that's what I got out of that at that time. And seriously, as a kid, I thought it was pretty dumb. But Mom and Dad liked church, and I thought they did anyway. And we went pretty religiously. And yes, that was a pun intended, just in case you missed it. So my dad was the boys' youth group head, and he took the boys out camping almost once a month, at least it seemed like from a kid's point of view. And it was over weekends, so we'd pick them up on Friday, and I got to go because I was a tomboy and I was one of the guys. He took us to Hunter Liggett, and we'd sit on big rocks over the creek, and we'd catch frogs, and we'd talk about nature, and we'd talk about God, and he taught us how to live. Does anybody remember Yule Gibbons? Yes. Don't eat that stuff. It's really nasty. But anyway, we learned how to live off the land. And so I'm thinking, this is the coolest thing ever, right? Even as a child, I knew that nature was God. Even in the Baptist church, somehow I got that. I don't think I actually got it from them, but I got that. So here you are with a man who had no sons, but who loved children, giving of his time away from his wife and his other daughter to take these boys who really needed a father figure. And he's talking about God. We would have a sermon. He would do a little sermon on Sunday morning. And so we're hanging out with God, right? We're thinking this is the coolest ever. Yeah, God's not there. God's in church on Sunday, Dawn. And you need to not do this anymore because the boys are missing church. Seriously? So we pretty much stopped going to church around that time. And I'm probably a little weak on some of the memories, Mom, but I remember it was a defining moment in our life and in our home. I think I perceived that my dad was pretty devastated. This was important to him. How could you actually say out of your mouth, God's not on the creek bed or on the rock or watching the deers or catching frogs or eating cattails? How could that not be God? But that's what they told my dad and advised him he could no longer do that. I thought it sucked and it was dumb and I didn't ever want to go back. But then a few years later, I'm in high school where I met Harry. And I don't know, Harry, if you even remember this, but I had a friend and his name was Brooke. And I had a friend named Trish. And we'd pal around a little bit. And I knew Brooke pretty well. He was very slight, not very outgoing. Brooke developed a brain tumor and he died. A very, very ugly death. So at that point, at 15 years old, God died for me. Religion died, God died. I don't need that. That's not working for me. And at 15, of course, you think that's the end of the world. So I thought that would be like it for the rest of my life. Thank God it wasn't. So then we go to Saudi Arabia. Wow, what a culture shock. The men wear white thobes, which is basically a white, very simple gown. And they wear a gutra on their head. And the women are covered from head to toe. And in Saudi Arabia, their faces are allowed to show. They do not wear the full gear that they wear in Iran. And there's a lot of bowing 6 times a day on a rug. Well, the men get to do it and the women elsewhere. And I had to cover my body. I always covered my head in a scarf, and I wore a thobe, woman's thobe, which was from my neck to my toes, down my arms. Didn't bother me. I thought it was a little weird. And then I thought, well, maybe the Baptists aren't so weird after all. Maybe, I don't know. But I digress. So what does this have to do with religion and spirituality? Hang on. But wait, right? Sorry, my nose is just running. And you guys remember that I do cry at supermarket openings? Okay, just making sure. When I came back from overseas, I was lost. I wasn't really sure about adulting. So I got married for the first time at 18 years old. So after I figured out that that wasn't going to work out very well, I found Zazen and Buddhism. And I realized that I was searching. And I think I was searching for my spirituality, although I don't know exactly that I understood what that word meant, really. But as time went on, I realized that I think that for me, anyway, and this is why listening to Vicky's, what she chose is like, there was a God connection. It was so cool. I just couldn't stop smiling. I think spirituality involves questioning the nature of my existence, the meaning of my life. Where did I fit into the universe, as opposed to religion that has parameters and boundaries that can be followed or you go to hell. Dogma, historical stories, Christmas story, the Easter story, and more. And no, Donna, I know that that is not all that religion is about. But if you were raised in a traditional faith, at some point, most of us question it. My husband's a recovering Catholic, for example. That's his words, not mine. But don't get me wrong, I am not condemning religion. Have you ever heard of religious science? Spirituality and religion, and I found it was much like Buddhism. In Buddhism, it was the closest thing after I became a practitioner that aligned with science of mind, spirituality. There's no judgment. You're responsible for your actions or lack of actions. You're responsible for your behavior. There's no devil in Buddhism. There's no devil in science of mind. There's no blaming except ourselves, because we have a little problem with self-acceptance. It's about taking responsibility for being peaceful, for learning how to calm your mind, learning to connect with yourself first, and then something or someone larger than ourselves. Spirituality emphasizes connecting with something outside of ourselves as well. We call it a higher power. We call it Mother, Father, God. We call it the universe. But it is in, through, and around in everything, regardless of what you call it. And it is not in church on Sunday. It's every single day, 24/7. It's in the sky, it's in the water, it's in the earth, it's in nature, it's in the sky, it's in animal, it's in people, it's in our experiences. It is all encompassing. Finding a deeper understanding for one's inner self helps us with compassion, acceptance. Always first ourselves. Because it's not outside of ourselves, it's inside of ourselves. And that leads to acceptance of others as well. I find for me that spirituality is a deeply personal journey. And so everyone is going to find meaning in a different way. We're different. We're profoundly different. One size does not fit all. I do not believe one size fits all. And that's what I found in religious science, science of mind, Ernest Holmes. And I resonated with Ernest Holmes and the old New Thought teachers. That's such a weird word, New Thought, old New Thought. Anyway, but I loved Jack Kornfield, Alan Cohen, Ken Keyes, Margaret Stortz, Willis Kinnear. But the difference between my experience with traditional religion and spirituality was less judgment and more personal responsibility. I was pretty judgy. I still am when I drive down Highway 70. But you've never heard this before, I know. If it's to be, it's up to me. No more blaming. No more blaming our parents, our sisters, our brothers, our mothers, our teachers, and yes, the horrible people in our lives who have done horrific things to us. We have to take those experiences, and we're not going to plead in prayer for some kind of salvation, but we're going to look into ourselves. Because we know that there's a higher power within us, and we can draw on it, and we are a part of it. And Spirit or God, the name is not important. It is the knowingness that Spirit is within me. And I do have the power and I do have the ability to pull it out. Buddha said, just a candle cannot burn without fire. Men cannot live without a spiritual life. Man learns through experience, and the spiritual path is full of different kinds of experiences. No one saves us but ourselves. We must walk the path ourselves. The further I dived into religion and spirituality, and notice I didn't say it has to be one or the other, the more I realized that from my point of view, wait for it, the world needs both. The world needs both. Remember I said one size does not fit all. Harry and I had the most amazing trip to the Panama Canal. And we met a couple. And the woman, the wife Sharon, beautiful woman, beautiful white hair, curls, and there was something about Sharon that just radiated. And she is deeply, profoundly religious. She's Catholic. She has been to Lourdes for healing. She just got back from a pilgrimage to Italy. She's a breast cancer survivor. And her faith is amazing. And I saw God's light shining from her. And it still does. And Harry talks to her more than I do. They text back and forth. She just got back, I think, from Rome or Italy a couple of days ago. It's amazing, that kind of faith. And I love that. It's what fits for her. It's what she needs. It's perfect, whole, and complete in every way. I knew another person, and I don't know if any of you have ever heard of her, but Peggy Bassett was the minister at the Huntington Beach, California, Science of Mind Church. It was the first Science of Mind exposure I had ever had in my life. I was living apart from my ex-husband. The children were young. I was commuting to LA every day. I had a nanny, and our nanny said, I think you need to come with me. You and the boys I want to take you someplace. She was young, amazing young woman. So, okay, because remember, I don't like church. And it said church, Science Mind Church. I don't like church. I walked into the sanctuary that day and I started crying. Any of you have that experience with Science Mind? And literally, I mean, I hadn't even sat down. I hadn't looked at the bulletin. I literally walked into that, and it was a massive, humongous church in Huntington Beach. And the energy and the spirit and the universe was full of something, wasn't it? I mean, it's amazing. But it doesn't matter if it's this massive Science Mind church or Wellspring. Peggy was up there. I never really knew Peggy personally or anything like that, but I want that. I want what she has, and I need what she has. I cried through the entire, probably for several weeks when I went to church for a while. I found that my soul needed what they were teaching. And Peggy was a teacher. She was a great teacher. And it was the beginning of my spiritual journey. I really felt like Peggy talked the talk. She was an amazing person. It opened up a whole new world for me. And I saw God's light shine from her too, just like I saw with Sharon. It was beautiful. The bottom line for me and my understanding is, I think the world needs both religion and spirituality. And I don't care if you say God or Spirit or Buddha or Mohammed. It matters how you live your life. It's how you treat yourself. It's how you grow as a person, a spiritual being, and in turn, how you shine your light into the world. And your job, should you choose to accept it, is to take all of these tools and all the opportunities that are available and find the one that works for you. I found on my journey that the tools change. My needs change, and I changed and I grew, as can you, as you do. I think we get too caught up in words. I think we read into things. I think we listen to others to tell us what we need. We don't. I love this space because of all the varied people I've met, all the teachers, all the students, because the students are teachers and the teachers are students. And for practitioners, which blew me away when I became a practitioner, is that practitioners learn from every single person that they do treatment for because they're treating for themselves. What a gift that people give us. This space is a tool to grow and to expand, and I am so thankful to be here and to learn from you. So just a couple more quotes and I'm going to stop. In I Am Enough, which you guys know I love Margaret Stortz and I love her book, there's a foreword and a quote from Ernest Holmes. It's one of his essays, and it ends with, "The Spirit can give us only what we can take. It imparts of itself only as we partake of its nature, and it can only tell you what we can understand." The next one is great. It's from Einstein. "Science without religion is lame. Religion without science is blind." And he liked this because of his belief in compatibility, the mutual interdependence. Religion, spirituality. Namaste. Spirit is in this room. God is in this room. In the 5 steps of treatment, the very first one is that God is all there is. So simple, so beautifully simple. And as God is in this room, and as God is in, through and around every one of us, and His Spirit flows, ebbs and flows through our life, through our body, through our actions, and that as our spirit expresses as the divine in the world that we walk in, There is great joy that every one of us in this room exists. There is such amazing joy that we participate in this world and we give our gift to ourselves first, and then we share it. We shine our light, we shine our spirituality, or our religion. Doesn't matter. As God shines or Spirit shines and is in, through, and around in every one of us, I encourage you to go out throughout your day, your week, your month, your life. Remember the truth of who you are. Remember the truth of your being, that you are God expressing. Wow. What a gift. And we all got it. We all have that gift. And I accept it and I want it and I wrap it around me like a beautiful shawl. And I say yes. I say yes to it. And I'm so grateful, so very grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Greatest prayer you'll ever say. And I let it go. And so it is. Namaste.
What an odyssey. Yeah, what a great history story. I would play that church in Huntington Beach. I often did, and hundreds of people. It was great, and the spirit was really, really wonderful, for sure. And Peggy was wonderful. She had a really cute husband too. He was really cute. He's good looking. You've got one too. I do. Everybody's got one here. I don't get it. It's good. Excuse me, just for a minute. Pardon me? Better. I'm going to say that. It's I hope it's all right to say that on June 6th, I'll be at the Rio Grande Theater. We're going to do a CD release show of my new CD. Yeah. And I'm putting a little group together, and it's going to be a fundraiser for the community radio, KTAL Radio here. So if you can make it, I'd love to see you. And I'll send out some kind of announcement or something if that's okay. Absolutely. And we'll come, and it's time to put all of our God desire into helping each other, you know, and to building our communities here. You know, that's the way I see it. So this will be, hopefully this music will be part of that. This is a song I wrote for a friend of mine for his wedding in Italy. He was my best friend, and he was getting married in Italy. And by the time I got to Italy, I didn't have any more money for a present. So I wrote him a song. That's what he gets. That's what you get. Why was I born? What am I to do? Where am I going next? Who the heck are you? Who knows what sweet thing it is that turns the world? Now all I see is the river of life, the river of life. All I see is the river of life, the river of life. I had a sweet romantic love, the kind I always wished I would. But we all know romantic love does no one any good. I prefer a love like ours, the kind that skins its knees. Now all I see is the river of life, the river of life. All I see is the river of life, the river of life. Oh, 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 ee, dee, dee. Oh, 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 oh. We saw the Queen of Heaven once. She was dancing in the sky. She leaned down to whisper in our ears, no one ever dies. Because the love you've brought to earth has set the whole world free. Now all I see is the river of life, the river of life. All I see is the river of life, the river of life. Oh, 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 ee, dee, dee. Oh, 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 oh. All I see is the river of life, the river of life has brought you to me. Thank you.
How about another round of applause for Teresa? And for Miss Donna. What a great message. Thank you. Well, speaking of gifts, Sharon, if you would please. Jim, if you would please. We'll be gathering tithes, gifts, love. I don't think that basket is big enough to hold all the love in this room right now. Thank you. Thanks, Jim. We acknowledge and receive our virtual and in-person gifts. We give great thanks for these offerings that are already given and those that we will be receiving, because we know that the giving and receiving are all part of one flow. And we affirm that we are also part of that flow. We bless these gifts and know that they are multiplied throughout our community. And so it is. So there are a number of people that we want to thank for the production of this service today here at our church. You know, we no longer go by Wellspring Church. We go by Wellspring Community, New Thought Community. So it's easier just to say, well, church on Sunday rather than, I'm going to my Wellspring community. People look at you like, what? It's like, that's the difference between religion and spirituality. So we have Cleona back as techie. We have Brenda on our camera. Jim, thank you for the offering. Shirley, thank you for leading us in song. And Teresa for the music, and Donna for the message. And for each of you for being here and sharing your light. Round of applause for everybody. Okay. So, and we'd like to thank all of you out in Zoom land for joining us. And if you'd like to stick around afterwards to visit, the rest of us get to go over there and have some num-nums. So, if you are able, please stand and we'll read the benediction and followed by our peace song. Spirit in the midst of us is mighty. Joy, peace, and eternal life are our true nature and flows through us into the world, and so it is.